Hey guys, Blue Wizard here with another Soulforge video on Gems of War. It's a whole new week. We have new things in the Forge, and we have new events going on, as well as Guild Wars this week. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Let's head over to the Forge and see what's in here. Starting with weapons, and we'll go down the list here. None of this is really that great. But there is one weapon here that is an absolute must-have. You need Rope Dart. If you do not have this weapon, get it this week. Definitely get it. It's worth the 300 diamonds. It's one of the most annoying weapons in the game. But it's very useful for events and for high-level delves and things like that. Because it will eliminate all armor from an enemy and deals 34 damage, and then it pulls them to the first position. If you do have it upgraded, which I do recommend that you do upgrade this weapon, it has tangling, which you can see right here, which means that it will entangle the enemy that it pulls to the front. So it's going to save you a lot from getting hit by skulls, and that is very useful in high-level events and high-level delves and that sort of thing. But it's a great, great weapon, and this week you can get it for 300 diamonds in the Forge. Absolutely recommend getting that. These other weapons here, Beastly Bow and Cat's Paw, these are a part of the... I don't know if this Beastly Bow one is a part of the event, but Cat's Paw might be. Pride Lands, I think, is the kingdom for the event, but I don't really recommend getting those. But Rope Dart, absolutely a must-have. Alright, so moving on here to the troops. And I'm just going to look at these really quick, the summoning stones. You know, it doesn't hurt just to go through really quick and look at if there's anything that catches my eye. I know it takes up a little bit of time, but it's not much. And I can look through these really quick here just to see if there's anything. And this week, nothing really catches my eye. So, yeah, I would say skip over those. And we're going on to legendaries and mythic troops. So for legendaries, we have Vanoxia, we have the Great Maw, we have Kirstanax, and we have Keelan. So out of all those, I would say probably Keelan and Kirstanax are the best, although Great Maw is useful in certain teams. It has a 100% devour chance unless the enemy is immune to devour. But, yeah, it has a high mana cost, 24, and it's for a legendary that's pretty high, but you can only cast it once. But if they're using, let's say, a hero class that is doesn't have the Fortitude talent unlocked yet, then you will be able to devour that. And usually the hero is the most powerful, annoying part of an enemy team that you're fighting, especially in like PvP. But this is also useful for certain events, and I do put teams together with it every once in a while. But would I say that any of these legendaries are good enough to craft? No. I'm not going to recommend any of these to craft. Keelan is pretty good. Like, if you have a lot of other great mythics, you have a lot of great other troops, but somehow you just missed out on getting Keelan, then you might want to pick it up because it's really good with Divine Ishbala. Those two troops together are pretty dangerous, and you see it all the time in PvP, especially with Rope Dart. Like Rope Dart, with those two, the Keelan and Divine Ishbala, and then maybe like a Thrall or something like that in there for quick mana generation. Is a pretty deadly team. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Moving on to Mythic troops, we have Jotnar Stormshield, Undine, Obsidius, and Mistralis. Now, out of all of these four mythics, I'm going to say that Obsidius is probably the best one out of the four. Second to that would be Mistralis. And then third is probably Jotnar Stormshield. Undine is really not that great. I've tried to use it in several different teams. It just doesn't really stand up. Jotnar, you get the most damage potential out of this if you have a full giant team, which we have a great giant class, the Titan class. So you can really use that to its full potential with a giant team. Because its damage is boosted at an extra 7 damage per giant ally and barriered ally. And it does barrier a random ally on 4 or 5 matches. So if you use something like Mountain Crusher, in a Titan class with this, and you can do some pretty good sniping true damage with it. But it's still probably not as good as something like Megavore, because Megavore is going to do a lot of true damage. It does close to 70 true damage, and it eliminates all armor from all enemy troops. So, but Jotnar Storm Shield is an okay mythic. It's not fantastic. It's probably like a middle B tier mythic troop, but yeah, it's okay. Definitely better than Undyne for sure. But Obsidius, one of the things that really makes this troop great for me is there's a couple of factors here. One is its ability is doing damage, but it's also generating mana for itself and also other troops. It destroys a 5x5 block, and there's also a 50% chance for it to do even extra damage. But and then it stuns all enemies on a 4 or 5 match. It reduces damage from skulls by 50%. Summons a dust storm when an enemy dies. So Obsidius is just really a useful troop in many situations for the stun, and also it's generating mana as well as doing some damage. So it's really good there. Mistralis is actually a pretty good mythic troop as well, for a couple reasons. One is that it enchants all allies in a 4 or 5 match. And when your allies are enchanted, they will gain passively 2 mana every single turn until they are full. And that'll happen here with this troop if you have this trait unlocked when you match 4 or 5 gems. But it also does do a little bit of damage, 35 splash damage 1 or 4 times to random enemies. And then it jumbles the board and it gains an extra turn. So you have a possibility here. You have a guaranteed extra turn unless it's frozen. And then you also have the possibility of even another extra turn, because when it jumbles the board, there might be a lineup of a 4 or 5 match of gems, which will also give you an extra turn. So Mistralis is a pretty decent mythic troop, but I wouldn't probably put it higher than Obsidius. Pretty sure about that. So Obsidius is going to be my #1 craft for a mythic troop this week, and Mistralis is second to that. For weapons, definitely get Rope Dart if you don't have it. For 300 diamonds, this thing is a steal. Really great weapon. So yeah, that's all I got for troops and weapons. So what we have left here is we're going to go over and check out the new weekly troop. These troops usually aren't that great, but I like to check them out anyway. This one is called Second Claw Anhur. 400 glory, buy you 1. We are getting 2 arcane storm trait stones per purchase, which is really a great deal. And now would be a good time if you do have any kind of legendary, mythic, or classes that need this kind of trade stone in order to level them up. Now would be a good time to go ahead and purchase some of those, because you're getting 2 every time you do that, and that's great. So, but let's check out its ability here real quick. It's 14 mana cost. This thing destroys a triangle of gems. That's interesting. So, destroying gems, you're going to, it's going to give your troops mana as if those gems were matched. So, destroying gems is actually better than exploding them. But in a triangle, I'm not sure quite how big that triangle is. So we would have to experiment with that before we decide really how great that's going to be. It gives 30 attack to all allies above me and give 3 magic to all allies below me. So this is interesting and a little bit weird. So it looks like if you want to empower your troops with magic, you're going to want to put this troop at the top of your team, or at least second to top of your team. And if you want to give all of your allies an increase in attack damage, you're going to want to put it at the bottom of your team. But it is also that mana generator with the triangle of gems being destroyed. But 30 attack is pretty significant, and it has a 14 mana cost. So if you get this thing powered up, quite quickly, and you cast that a good 3 times, that's an extra 90 attack damage for all troops. So that's pretty awesome right there. Not a bad new troop, actually. It's a lot better than some of the other ones I've seen. So now what we have left here is we're going to talk a little bit about the event going on. Of course, it is Guild Wars, so I've done videos on Guild Wars before, so I'm not going to really go into depth here to cover that. But if you want to maximize your points when you're attacking an enemy team, you want to use troops and weapons all of the same color. So for example, if I go in here to here, and right here with a schedule, this shows us, or at least me, I don't know if it's different for other guilds, but for my guild, we're going to have blue first, red, and then purple, brown, yellow, green. So the first day, second day, third day, fourth, fifth, sixth. So the first day of the guild wars here, in order to gain an extra 50% points, I need to use weapons and troops that all have blue mana color. So that's very important right there to do that. Same thing here for the red. The second day, I have to use weapons and troops that all have red in them. So that's a way to get bonus points for attacking. Now for defense, and my defense teams are all messed up. I need to restructure this here. But for defense, you want to have unique weapons and troops in each of these for the whole amount of time. And right here, I need to redo a lot of these teams because they're not really good. But what you really need to maximize your points is that there's all unique troops and weapons each and every team for every day. And right here at the bottom, you can see potential bonus points for the week from the current teams using 24 different troops. Current bonus points earned from using 4 different troops is 2,000 points, and you multiply 2,000 by the 6 days, and you're going to get 12,000 extra points there. And that is the most you can get, is the 12,000. So if you want to maximize your points on defense, that is how you do it. And of course, upgrading sentinels is, it's not super important, I would say, but it does give you a little bit of a boost. You can spend a little bit of resources here to increase your attack damage, your life, armor, and magic. And that's pretty much all there is to Guild Wars there. So that was just really brief summary. I've got other videos with probably more in depth on some Guild Wars stuff, but let's go on to the current event here and check this out. So changing the guard is the name for this event, and we're going to go here in the shop. We want to get ourselves a medal so I can do enough damage. So we're going to go through the shop here. We're going to buy enough of these tokens to get badges. Here's my first badge, and we're going to keep doing that until we get, this is the second badge. So I need one more badge, and then it will convert into a medal, and then we're going to go see what it is. Medal of the West is what it is called. And so if we go back, I'm going to equip the Medal of the West. It's 160% spell damage for all troops. So this one is spell damage. So we want to be sure that we're building a team around spell damage and not skull damage, because skulls will not receive an increase in damage during this event, which actually is a little unfortunate because there is troops like Umanath here that does create 12 skulls if an enemy dies. And we got Sekma, which is a skull troop. So there's a few troops in there that do have the skull damage. But we also have the Guardian troops here, Cunning. That might be useful, but it uses purple, which is kind of an odd color for this kingdom. Not really super useful, but we may want to put that in there. And this is the new troop that we just got. And unfortunately, this one, we can't really use this that well except for the magic part. But the attack damage we can't really use because this week is all about spell damage and not skulls. So we're going to have to work out a nice team here. Ubistet, if you have it, is probably a must-have in there. And I'm thinking of putting Mountain Crusher in there just for mana generation. This guy, boosted by gold, could also be used for mana generation. And we'll see here. Tagraki Warrior is a good bounty troop, but it is also a good troop for other things there. I might just put Cunning in there for the fact that yeah, so weapon, I may just go Mountain Crusher, even though we have a lot of weapons here to choose from. A lot of weapons to choose from. And the thing is here, the Raksha class is the Sun Spear class, which creates a firestorm at the start of every turn, which is red mana. But this is a Raksha class right here, as you can see. So if you wanted to build a full Raksha team, you could do something like that. But let's see what troops we have that have red in them. And probably not that, you know, I mean, Ubistet does. Umanoth does, but, Not a lot of troops in this kingdom that have... A lot of them are just single damage. There's not a lot here that looks like there's damage being done to the whole team. You know, that's one area where I'm kind of like, what's going on? So we could use Mountain Crusher and like the Titan class here with this kind of team. Or Raksha Freeblood is going to be our mana generator after it gains some gold. But we don't really need him, per se. Let's see, what else can we put in here? We want something that has some good spell damage. And most of these troops just do not have... I mean, they're single target damage, but not... This right here does... Yeah, these are going to pack a punch for sure. And I could even do something like this. And then we could have Ubistet in there and do that. And then we could do... we could do double brown and either purple or something for... Let's see what a double brown purple looks like. Yeah, we could do that. That way the cunning there is open. But yeah, we don't have a whole lot of great options. I think, you know, a lot of where your damage is going to come from is either the troops like these Guardians or there are a lot of great weapons that can be used. But all of these Guardian troops hit 2 enemies. So that's good. And I don't see another 4 or 5 match, but yeah. It's going to hit those 2, these 2. See if we can get a little higher damage here. Every time we get a 4 or 5 match, those Guardian troops really are gonna... They're gonna increase their own stats, and also Ubistet here is gonna get increased, so that's really why I got them in there. But Ubistet can instantly kill. We got the 160% spell damage, so if you do have Ubistet, this would be a good event to use it in, because it does have a lethal kill. Does damage to 2 weakest enemies, boosted by all ally and enemy attack. If one of the enemies dies, then kill the other one. So you definitely have a good thing going on between that. Yeah, right now we're kind of stuck at a lower level of gameplay. The enemy's health and armor are pretty low. we'll see after, I'll go try to make a different team with a weapon that's focused on damage here. Let's see what we can come up with. Oh, we got a high level one here, but let's say... Oh, let's see what weapons we got here to work with. Quite a few. Look at all this. So, you know, these are all the Doom weapons. If you do have one of these, like the Doom Axe or the Doomed Club, all that stuff would be pretty good. Doomed Crossbow. But for class weapons, Dancing Daggers would probably be good. Dawnbringer, if you have it, would probably be good. Fiend Fire is good. Essence of Evil is pretty good for shutting everybody down. Orb of Winter is good damage. Reflection of Good could be a mana generator. But we got Black Manacles, which is damage to everything. That's nice. Then if you use something like that for damage, then for troops you're gonna want some kind of mana generation, and I think the only real mana generators you have in here is Raksha Freeblood and the new troop, this guy. So, let's say we put this in here. Let's say we put that in there. And then that leaves a weapon that's powerful and one other troop. And we can leave Cunning in there. And then if we go for weapon and we say we want Black Manacles might be good, but right now it's going to block mana from Raksha Freeblood and Cunning. So if we had something else, and I don't really know what. Got Life and Death. They also have Black Manacles, which has a 20% chance to devour. If we put Life and Death in there, I just wish, oh, sorry, I'm yawning here. Just wish we had a better mana generator in this team, or in this, this kingdom. Convert all blue gems to red. Interesting. This is a mana generator, but it doesn't really get going until you have enough gold. So we could take that out of there, and we could change the class to the Sun Spear class. We could do like a Raksha themed team. But I just don't like that those Guardians are a purple color. But other than the Guardians, you just have troops that do single target damage. So instead of using that, could use something like the Doomed Club. Or we could use Essence of Evil with this team, and these guys would have that. Kind of hard to decide. Like it's an odd kingdom with troops that don't really have like a damage all type. And we have some weapons that do that here, but not a lot of them are like harder to get. There's good old Rope Dart. But we could use red since could do double red purple, and we could do a red weapon. Let's see. So we got Dawnbringer. That might be too much for some people because it's hard to get. Looking here to see if there's any better red. I mean, there's fire and ice. If you have that, it's damage to all enemies. You got Summer's Fury, which also creates some red gems. We could do that. We'll just play around with this a little bit. But yeah, there is not really like a lot of great... I mean, there's a significant amount of weapons, I guess, that you could use. But just not as... But yeah, it's interesting here. Let's see what the triangle looks like here. Okay, so the triangle isn't that big. It's only, from what it looked like, it was only like a 3 by 3 of the sides. But these Guardians really do pack a punch. So I would say that those are definitely a great option to use in this event, even though the color is purple on them. Yeah, so, that's basically all I got for you here in this Soulforge video. Definitely pick up Rope Dart if you don't have it yet. It only costs 300 diamonds, one of the best weapons in the game. And Guild Wars is going on this week. We don't have anything else, really, any events going on. That's pretty much it. That's all I really have for you in this Soulforge video. So, thanks for watching, guys, as always, and I appreciate you. And I'll see you on the next video. Later.